Nobody tells you that most businesses don't start with a dream. They start with a closed door. You and Marcus walked out of the same school the same spring with basically the same resume. Same grades, near enough. Same cheap suit bought for the same kind of interview. You even practiced your handshakes on each other, which is a thing you'll both deny later. You were dead even. And then the world did the thing the world does, which is it flipped a coin it never lets you see. Marcus got a callback. You didn't. That's it. That's where the whole split starts. Not a vision, not a calling, not some moment where you stood on a mountain and decided to be your own boss. Marcus got an email that said we'd love to have you, and you got an email that said we went with other candidates. And then you got that same email again, and again, 40 more times over 4 months until you stopped opening them on the day they came in because there's only so many times you can read the word unfortunately before lunch. You started to take it personally, which is hard not to do when it's your own name on every rejection. You wondered if it was your interview face, your school, something about you that everybody could see except you. It wasn't any of that. It was a coin. But nobody tells you it's a coin while it's happening. While it's happening, it just feels like the world has quietly decided you're not the guy. So Marcus puts on the badge. He's got a desk, a lanyard, a manager named Dave, a salary that hits his account on the 15th and the 30th like clockwork. He doesn't love the work. Half of it is sitting in meetings about other meetings. But money comes in, and there's a clear set of stairs in front of him, and when his family asks what he does, he's got an answer that fits in one sentence and makes everyone nod. And you've got nothing to do all day except keep getting rejected, which gets old fast and gets expensive faster. Here's the part that actually matters. You didn't start a business because you were brave. You started it because you were bored and broke and a little bit humiliated, and there was exactly one person left in the entire world who would give you something to do. Yourself. You knew how to fix phones. You'd done it for friends for years, for free, the guy everyone texts when their screen cracks. So you put up a post offering to do it for $30 a pop. Not to build an empire, just to have a reason to put on pants and a little money so the broke didn't feel so total. The first month you made $110. I want to be honest about how unimpressive that is. Marcus made more than that before lunch on his first day. You did the math on your hourly rate once and then decided never to do that particular math again. But something happened that you didn't expect, and it wasn't the money. A guy you fixed a phone for asked if you also did tablets. You said yes before you knew if that was true. Then you spent a night on the floor with a borrowed tool and a video, learning. Then his coworker called. Then a small shop down the road asked if you'd just handle all their repairs, all of them every week. And you realized you were saying yes to things slightly bigger than you, over and over, and then figuring them out in the dark afterward. That turned out to be a completely different skill than the one school gave you a piece of paper for. School tested whether you already knew the answer. This tested whether you could find it before the guy came back to pick up his tablet. Meanwhile, Marcus is doing great. Genuinely. He gets his first promotion in 18 months. A raise, a better title, a slightly nicer chair, a parking spot with a number. He sends you a photo of his new business cards, and you're happy for him. You really are. And you're also sitting in a rented storage unit you can barely afford with 40 broken phones laid out on a card table in front of you. So you don't send a photo back. You just write congrats and mean it and feel weird. For the next few years, this is the whole show. Marcus climbing, you scrambling, and if you stop the tape right here, Marcus wins. It's not close. He's got the apartment, the steady money, the title that doubles in size every couple of years, the calm of knowing exactly what next month looks like. You've got a thing that might be a business or might just be a stressful way to stay poor, and on most days you genuinely cannot tell which. Some months you pay yourself less than Marcus makes in a week. One month, a bad one, you don't pay yourself at all. You cover your one employee, you keep the lights on, and you eat rice for dinner more nights than you'd admit, telling yourself it's temporary. Everybody who ever started a business knows that month. It's the one nobody posts about. There's no photo of that one. So let's not pretend. The latter is winning. The story doesn't stop there, though, and here's where the two of you start to actually differ. Not in money, in something underneath the money. Marcus has a ceiling. He doesn't see it yet, but it's there, and it's made out of other people. To go up, somebody above him has to leave, or like him, or pick him. His raise is a number somebody else decides in a room he's not in. His title climbs a ladder somebody else built, and that ladder only goes as high as the building goes. He's safe, and safe has a price. And the price is this: the best year of his career and the worst year of his career will land in almost the same bank account. The floor under him is solid concrete, but the ceiling over him is too. You don't have a ceiling, which sounds amazing right up until you remember the other thing you don't have, which is a floor. Nobody is catching you if you fall. There is no salary on the 15th. If you stop moving, the money stops. That day, all of it. But the flip side, the part that slowly changes everything, is that nobody decides your number but the work itself. You hire one guy, then a second. You move out of the storage unit into an actual small shop with your name on a real sign, which you paid a guy $40 to make and which is to this day the single most expensive $40 you've ever loved. The thing that was keeping you poor quietly turns into a thing that feeds 4 families. And one day you do the math, the real math, this time, and you realize you cleared more this year than Marcus did. Not because you're smarter than him. You're not. Because your thing had no ceiling and his had one, and you give that enough years, that gap has to show up eventually. Now here's where the easy video lies to you, and I'm not going to. You didn't win, because Marcus didn't lose. While you were lying awake during the rice month wondering if you'd thrown away 4 years of your life, Marcus was sleeping fine. 8 hours every night for years. While you were learning exactly what a missed payroll feels like sitting in your chest at 3 a.m, Marcus took a real vacation, the kind where you don't bring the laptop, the kind you have not taken in so long you're not sure you'd remember how. He has never once checked his bank balance with his stomach in a knot. He has never lain on the cold floor of a shop at midnight staring at the ceiling. He bought the boring thing, stability, and it paid him back in sleep. And sleep is not nothing. Sleep is most people's entire reason for choosing the latter, and they are not wrong to choose it. So you finally see what the choice actually was all those years ago, and it was never the thing you thought it was. It was never business versus job. It was never even freedom versus money, because both of you ended up with some of each, just in different amounts at different times. The real fork was about which fear you could live with. Marcus is afraid of the floor giving out, of no money coming in, of the free fall, of having to explain a gap to people. That fear is real and it runs underneath his whole life, quiet as a fridge hum, and the latter is how he answers it. Pay me on the 15th and I'll accept a ceiling. That was the deal, and he made it with his eyes open. And you, it turns out, are afraid of the ceiling. Of looking up one day and seeing a number somebody else set and realizing that's as high as your one and only life is allowed to go. That fear is just as real, and it's the actual reason you survived the rice month, because the only thing on the other side of quitting was that ceiling, and you were more afraid of it than you were of going broke. You weren't tougher than Marcus. You were just scared of a different thing. 2 men. Same start. Same coin flip that happened to land 2 different ways. And underneath all the money talk, all either of you was ever really doing was running away from the fear you couldn't stand, toward the one you could. Marcus paid for a floor with his ceiling. You bet your floor on your ceiling. Neither of you was the smart one, and neither of you was the brave one. You were just scared of different things, and you were both honest enough to build a whole life around the truth of what scared you. So if you're standing where the 2 of you stood that spring with the coin still up in the air, don't ask which one makes more money. The answer is, it depends. On you, on luck, on the year, on 100 things you can't see from where you're standing. Ask the only question that actually picks the road. Which are you more afraid of? A ceiling you can't break through or a floor that was never there? Be honest about your answer, all the way honest, because you are going to be living right next to that fear every single morning for the next 30 years. The right path was never the one that pays the most. It's the one whose fear you can stand to wake up to.